We're going to be recording today's event, so we are happy to send that to you after if you're interested in replaying. Thanks again for joining, everybody. Today's event is going to be focusing on joint NetSuite and BTM Global customer Nighthawk and their journey with growth and automation through both of our partnerships. So if you go to the next slide, I'll walk through the agenda for today as well as some quick housekeeping items. As I just said, we're going to go through a brief overview of NetSuite and BTM Global, as well as Nighthawk. The majority of today's conversation will be with Brian from BTM interviewing William, the IT project manager at Nighthawk, around their company's growth and operations, both before and through their NetSuite journey. We will be saving some time for questions at the end, so please put your questions in the chat. As you can see, we do have all attendees muted today, so we really will be keeping an eye on the chat function to make sure that we're getting all of your questions answered. If you want to go to the next slide, I'm just going to go through a brief overview of NetSuite in case you aren't familiar, or just a refresh for those of you that are. So NetSuite is the first cloud company. We were founded in 1998, and since then we've seen record growth. That growth really gained the attention of Oracle, and NetSuite was acquired by Oracle at the end of 2016. I came over to NetSuite via the Oracle acquisition, so I think that's a great thing that happened to the NetSuite team. Today, we have 27,000 customers worldwide across over 200 global countries and territories, and that record growth is not stopping. In the last 12 months, we've seen 6,000 new companies that have joined the NetSuite family, and we are the fastest growing financial management platform. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to Brian, who's the Senior Solution Architect at BTM Global, to go through a brief overview of the BTM team. Then we'll walk through Firehawk, and then I'll let Brian take it away.
Great, thanks, Haley. As Haley mentioned, my name is Brian Simmons. I'm a Senior Solution Architect here at BTM Global, and I'm based out of Dayton, Ohio. I've been working with NetSuite in some form or fashion for the past 13 years or so, 8 of which were actually as an end user, and the last 5 have been on the consulting side. BTM Global, we are a NetSuite Alliance partner based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. We specialize in Oracle Retail as well as Oracle NetSuite implementations. Here at BTM, we've implemented multiple firearm companies, including the current implementation in progress with Nighthawk Custom, as well as many other industries that span the gamut. We do pride ourselves in our unique approach and team members here. This results in BTM forming long-term partnerships with our clients, which average 5 years post go live, which for anyone in the consulting side is a really long time, especially since we're not a staff augmenting company, but rather purely project based. So with that, William, I'll turn it over to you to give us a little bit of background on Nighthawk Custom.
Sure. As Brian and Haley both said, my name is William Goodwin. I am the IT project manager / director here at Nighthawk Custom. I've been here just shy of 2 years. I have been fortunate to develop my business skills and knowledge through several different organizations. I've worked as a business analyst and in project management at a large financial technology firm. I've owned and operated a successful retail company and I've sold and supported industrial equipment and software. As far as Nighthawk Custom goes, the company was started in 2004 here in Berryville, Arkansas, which is up in the northwest corner of the state. We currently employ about 80 employees. We design, produce, and sell high-end custom-built pistols. Our pistols are based on the 1911 platform, which was created in 1911 by John Browning for military service. This platform, with its function and superior design, and it's just an aesthetic looking pistol, this platform is still very popular to this day, and that's why we base everything that we make around that. We currently offer around 40 highly customizable base models, or we can custom build a pistol to customers' desires. What kind of sets us apart is the way that we produce pistols. We don't have assembly lines or mass production. Everything is built by a single gunsmith. Our slogan is one gun, one gunsmith. We will machine all of our parts in-house. That's also something that doesn't happen very often, so we're very vertically integrated as far as our supply goes. Like I said, that single gunsmith will hand fit a pistol. We realize that the way we do it. It's not the most efficient or cost effective, but the end result, will give you a pistol that has superior reliability and will last for generations. And that's important. That's why we do offer a lifetime warranty on any pistol that we build. No questions asked. If anything goes wrong with it, even if the customer messes it up, we'll send you a shipping tag, get it sent back in here, and we'll get it taken care of for you. So if you go to the next slide that I provided there, we produce approximately 3,600 1911 pistols every year. Our primary distribution channel is through our network of dealers, made up primarily of retail sporting goods stores and specialty firearm stores. The average price of one of our pistols is around $3,700. That range goes from around $3,100 up to about $8,000, depending on the model and customizations that you might put on one. As far as obviously the bulk of our business is the production of pistols. We do have a few other revenue streams we import revolvers from Korth, that's based out of Germany, and then we import costly shotguns from Italy. So we're the exclusive U.S. distributor for both of those companies. All of our firearm sales does go through our account managers. We like to build strong relationships with our customers and end users. We do, however, sell parts and accessories and Nighthawk merchandise through our e-commerce platform at nighthawkcustom.com. We also have an on-site custom shop, as we call it. So if a customer has a pistol of any brand or type, they can send it into us, and we have a gunsmith that their sole job is to do upgrades and customizations to those type guns. So those are kind of our four main revenue streams, if you will.
Great. Awesome. Well, thanks, William. I think at this point, we'll kind of dive into some of the Q&A. So we appreciate the background on Nighthawk Custom. How about a little bit of background about yourself?
So I was born and raised in North Little Rock, Arkansas. So that's it is a separate city from the capital city of Little Rock. I attended school at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, which actually is about an hour from where we're located here in Berryville. My educational background, I graduated from the Sam Walton College of Business in 2010, majoring in information systems and supply chain management. I also took a lot of ERP electives. That's where I was first kind of exposed to the ERPs and the power that they had and the benefits they provide to a company. So I've worked for, like I said, a very large financial technology firm. I've worked for a large industrial equipment firm. Owned my own store for a little bit. I've done some ministry work, and then I've been here at Nighthawk for about 2 years. I actually came on as an account manager to sell and whatnot, but this was kind of a project that was kind of being talked about, and Nelson and Mark, our owner and CEO and COO, knew that I had some background in this and kind of tagged me and said, "What if we kind of realign your role here to kind of focus on our IT type project?" So it's a good fit for me. I enjoy what I'm doing here and have a great team behind me. And we've been really excited about getting going here with NetSuite.
Great. Awesome. Well, that's a good transition. So for the bulk of today's conversation, right, we're going to be discussing, Nighthawk's ERP journey. So jumping right in, what were your key business drivers for your ERP evaluation?
Sure. So there were 3 things that we were looking at when we began the discovery phase of the project. First thing was we wanted a system that would provide visibility in our production process. Obviously, our pistols are very highly customizable. There's a lot of steps that go into that to get them from order to shipping them out the door. There's about 16 steps that we've kind of identified as we've configured NetSuite. And right now, there's not a lot of tracking or metrics being collected on that process. So, at the end of the month, we know we're making money on our pistols, but as far as each process, the time involved and costs, we're not really looking at that a whole lot just because it's kind of difficult the way we've got things set up. But by utilizing NetSuite, we're going to be able to definitely do that. That's going to help us not only financial wise to look at those metrics, but to be able to plan and schedule builds and making sure that we have parts and whatnot available for the build. Secondly, we wanted a centralized location that we can store various data that's collected. Right now, we put a lot of stuff on spreadsheets. We have a network server drive, and there's folders after folders of stuff. Each department kind of tracks their own stuff. So as far as being able to do a lot of analysis, company-wide, there's a lot of work involved going in and kind of merging all that to some useful stuff. We even have some departments that still use paper logs for checking things in and out, and so we're definitely really excited to have all that in one place and take a lot of the load off of our employees. And lastly, we were looking for something that was stable and could grow with us. We've experienced tremendous growth, especially from last spring when the pandemic started. If you're not familiar, the firearms industry has just been trying to play catch up, getting product to dealers and whatnot. And we even before then we've been experiencing very good organic growth year over year. So we've been on QuickBooks since I think 2014, and so we've outgrown it, no doubt about it. And so there's usually not a day that we don't have some sort of issue that we're trying to work through. In fact, before I got on here, I was trying to take care of a QuickBooks issue. So we're very excited to have NetSuite in place and having something that we know is going to be reliable and we can actually use the system for what it's designed to do rather than trying to fix it every day. So.
Great. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like managing the manufacturing process and work centers is a big part of that decision to move to NetSuite. Are there any other other additional pitfalls from your current system that you're trying to get away from that you think NetSuite will assist with?
Sure. I'll just kind of real quick go over how our primary production process works. So
Sure.
An order will be inputted by one of our account managers. Typically, like I said, this is from a sporting goods store or dealer or a law enforcement agency, et cetera. We do work with end customers directly. If they don't have a dealer in their area, we will just work with them, one-on-one. So from there, that order is going to be put in a queue. Right now, the wait time for that is anywhere between 6 to probably 12 months. That's how much backlog we've got going on right now. Back pre-pandemic, we could usually say between 2 and 4, you'd have your pistol. Plus, we had a lot of stuff in stock that we could send out that day too, and we've gone through all of that. So at this point, we're a true custom build shop. Hopefully, we can eventually kind of get back to where we can have some stuff in inventory, but that's just kind of the state of things right now. So once it comes up in queue, we will assign a frame and a slide to it. Those are the two components that are regulated by the ATF. I call it Tobacco Firearms. That's a government agency. Really just the frame is. We kind of keep the slide with it too. So we'll assign that serial number to that build. The pistol will then go up to the machine shop, which we have here on site, and they'll do a lot of the cuts and engravings and things that the pistol needs based on the stuff that's been selected. Once those are completed, we'll bring it back down to the Nighthawk production building where the other parts will be assembled with it. It takes about 40 to 50 individual parts to build the pistol out. So we call that a kit. We have a little manufacturing tub with all the parts in it. That'll then go into the production shop where the production manager will assign a gunsmith to build the pistol. He will do the entire build himself. So like I said earlier, no assembly line. We're not producing them in bulk stages. It's literally a custom fit gun. And part of the reason we do that is whenever you have one person putting each component in there, they fit it. You get a much tighter fit, and when you have a real tight fit, you have a much more reliable and long-lasting weapon. Mm-hmm. They're working with tolerances, a quarter to a half width of a human hair is what some of the tolerances are in some of the parts there. And they're doing all that by hand. There's no fancy machine that's doing that. It's all by feel, and they put different chemicals on there so they can kind of see where stuff is touching and whatnot. And when you get done with that, the slide and everything feels like it's on ball bearings. It's just that smooth, and everything works real well. So once the pistol is built, It's now a functional firearm. We'll send it to the prep department where they'll kind of do a sanding, and if there's any machine marks that are still in it, they'll get it ready to be finished essentially. And we offer probably 10 different finish coating options. If you know firearms, we do nitride, DLC, Cerakote, stuff like that. And so some of that we do in-house. Some of the different applications take a little bit more invested machining and whatnot to apply those coatings. We do send those out to probably about 4 or 5 different vendors that do that stuff for us. So once the finish work is complete, it comes to our final assembly department where they'll reassemble all the parts and pieces to the gun. It will then go through the final inspection and test firing and targeting process. If no issues are discovered there, it will be brought to the account manager to set up, payment terms and whatnot to get it shipped out to the end customer. So that's kind of a high level overview. As far as pitfall goes, we could also honestly sit here for hours, but we won't take everybody's time. So I'll just kind of touch on a few. As I previously mentioned, the visibility into our process is one, not only from a planning and cost perspective, but from a customer service perspective as well. Our account managers receive calls daily almost, especially now that wait times are long. We had customers want to know, where are you at with my build, and so right now basically they have to call to either the machine shop or the production department, the finishing department, try to figure out has that gun come through that area yet.
Right.
Then the department leads are having to go and look in their spreadsheets or clipboards or whatever and say, hey, order number 1234 has been through here. That can kind of halfway give the customer a lead, updated lead time. So with the advanced manufacturing, we're looking forward to the account manager just the number going to look at the work order, and with some of the tracking we're putting in place to be able to see exactly where that pistol is in build. That'll not only let the account managers get that task done faster, it keeps the people actually doing the work back there from having to stop doing what they're doing and looking up. So that's one of the big things there. And then obviously the demand planning for parts is also going to be a big part that we're looking forward to getting in place. Right now, QuickBooks doesn't do a very good job of the planning aspect of it. We've made it work, but there's still a lot of manual work, that has to go into the kind of forecasting based on the stuff we know we're going to be building over the next 3, 6, 12 months down the road. So we're really looking forward to having a lot of that automation and forecasting tools there to help our purchasing department as well.
So you had mentioned all the different steps, you guys are taking in your current process, none of which is being tracked in QuickBooks right now. So, we'll be utilizing the WIP and routings, right? We'll have routings for each of those stations with NetSuite, which will help us see, where everything is in that process. So, along with overcoming those issues, what were your goals with the new ERP system, and why did you go with NetSuite, and why did you choose BTM as your partner?
I think our goals for our new ERP mirrored a lot of kind of what I talked about earlier as far as the reason how we got to NetSuite. A lot of the visibility into our business, not only in production, but just across the board, having that centralized data management and a solid platform lets us grow going forward. In our discovery sessions, we considered several other cloud-based ERP systems that are on the market. But what made us kind of finally decide on NetSuite was the amount of functionality that was built into native NetSuite, straight out the box. And additionally, there are numerous add-on modules, and like we're using the advanced manufacturing and bill of materials and work in process module from NetSuite. We'll be utilizing the NetSuite payroll system as well. There's also numerous third-party built for NetSuite apps that pretty much encompass anything that we'll ever be able to or need to grow the business and to make things easier.
Mm-hmm.
So having all that in one package deal was a big reason for why we went the way we went. And obviously with BTM, NetSuite kind of gave us a list of folks to consider for an implementation partner, and after talking, kind of doing the discovery phase with, I believe, Sonny and Tony Ramirez at BTM, we felt that since y'all had some experience with the firearms market, that y'all would be a great fit for us going forward.
Great. So, you know, we're talking about a lot of the improvements that you'll see and expect to see once you're live. Throughout the implementation process, have you discovered any benefits that you didn't originally anticipate with the implementation of NetSuite?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going into it, you know, it's all been about the, you know, seeing the visibility of the business. And so, you know, one of the things we really didn't consider as much, but it's kind of come to light now that we're kind of getting into that configuration stage of the project. It's just the employee productivity increase that we should expect to see, because so many of our departments, most of the time, is just tracking, you know, putting that stuff in those spreadsheets and tracking stuff down, and, you know, and having the automation that NetSuite offers in a lot of the tasks. You know, that will allow them to focus on primary responsibilities, and obviously when they're focused on either shipping stuff or kitting stuff or whatever it may be, there's more time to get more stuff through the door. And so, you know, I also can see our sales department benefiting greatly with all the task management and scheduling and upsell recommendations that are all going to be built into their CRM platform. Right now they use multiple systems as well to track. They use QuickBooks for the billing and orders, and then they've got a third-party CRM. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's making do. But you know, having all that in one and be able to, like I said earlier, check order statuses and things like that is going to help the sales department to grow their book of business and to service customers more efficiently.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it touches all parts of the business, right? And how have you guys planned, and how do you think your company's going to tackle the change management that comes with moving ERP systems?
Sure. You know, and I think, you know, one of the things that I have going for me here is out of the 80 employees we have, about 30 of them will actually be NetSuite users directly. So what that's going to allow me to do, and we've kind of already started this a little bit internally, is each department probably has 5 to 6 people in it. So I can bring them in the conference room. We can really sit down and go through the steps that are involved in their everyday jobs. And one thing that I like about NetSuite is we can tailor dashboards and forms and everything to just having each individual's roles and responsibilities present on the screen. And we've got kind of a wide, diverse as far as the level of technical ability here at Nighthawk. So we have some that are going to, will get into NetSuite and find new ways to help us use it. And then we're going to have some that, you know, that are going to need a little hand holding and getting going. But, you know, by going through the trainings and whatnot ahead of time, all of our department managers have taken the NetSuite provided, I believe it's the Learning Clouds system
Right.
NetSuite offers. So I highly recommend that for sure. So they'll be there also to kind of help as we get our end users up to running. As far as any pushback from you changing, I see zero, because everyone in this building knows how QuickBooks has kind of treated us, and there's a lot of frustration around that. So everyone from the top down is definitely bought in 100% to this change, and we're definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, great. Well, I know we're getting short on time here, so I got one question. I think we'll hand it over to Haley for some Q&A. Okay. But can you speak to your experience with BTM Global and how you envision NetSuite and BTM will help you and your company enable future growth?
Absolutely. And before I get into this, I'm going to say that I'm not being paid for what I'm about to say, and Brian didn't put me any money to say these things, because it's all 100% true. So I have nothing but good things to say. We haven't had any issues at all with BTM. You know, from our initial discovery phase, where all the requirements were gathered, and as we went to the project scoping phase, they've all been very approachable and extremely knowledgeable. They've been a great resource to, you know, if something comes up that, you know, if I'm in NetSuite working with something and, you know, I have an idea or want some clarification of how I should set this up, you know, Brian and Matt Payton, our project manager, and Avery and David, who are all on our project team, you know, they, you know, super quick turnaround on communication, Everything's always prepared when we have meetings and whatnot. They are always very, have us in mind, and I feel like we're in partnership with them, not just them as another vendor that we work with. I've never felt like that they pushed the agenda or trying to upsell stuff. It's always been a very good two-way conversation on everything, and I definitely feel that they have the best interest of Nighthawk in themselves, in everything that they do.
Oh, well, we appreciate the kind words. It's been a great project so far. I've been delighted to be on it. And Haley, I'll let you take over.
Perfect. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, William. That was super insightful. So as I mentioned at the beginning, we do just have a couple minutes left for Q&A. I have a couple of questions so far that I'm going to go through with William, but if anything else came up during the conversation that you want to know more about, please put that in the chat and we'll try to get to it before the end of the event. William, first question for you. I know we talked a lot about change management and the improvements that you guys are anticipating to see once you go live. Any advice for other companies that might be in the same position or looking to change systems?
Honestly, I think that if you're in a position where you're looking, you probably need to change systems. That's kind of the way we've been around here. It's been something that's been kind of on the radar for Nighthawk for several years. Just the right people, weren't in place to. The internal knowledge anyway wasn't there until I came along. So I've been able to kind of get people familiar with how ERPs work and things of that nature. As far as the advice, the best thing you can do is start documenting your processes in your business. What that allows you to do is when you have these conversations with prospective vendors, hopefully NetSuite, you're able to know exactly what you need, and they can see your processes and make sure that everything's aligned and tailored to what you need to make the conversion a lot less invasive than if you just kind of went in and said, hey, I need NetSuite, and didn't really have a lot of supporting documentation internally to help get everything the way it needs to be.
Perfect. I know that documentation piece is huge, and we definitely hear that from a lot of customers who give that advice to others that are considering moving to an ERP and NetSuite specifically. We have time for just one more question. I know you guys are still in the bulk of your implementation process right now, but knowing what you do know now, would you have done anything differently throughout the process?
I think getting started sooner would have been awesome. But there was a little bit of prep work that had to be done on our side before we dove in. But as far as anything differently, I really can't think of anything. I mean, everything thus far has gone very smooth, a lot smooth. And obviously, I've been in project management before, and I know usually projects don't go 100% smooth. But the small little minor things that we've had come up have really been minor, and with working with BT and everything's handled and settled and moving forward. So, I mean, knock on wood, hopefully everything over the last couple months tracks the way we need it to. And it's been really a painless process, at least from our side.
That's great to hear. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Thanks again, William and Brian, for your time, and to BTM for hosting. We're excited to have you guys as a NetSuite customer and looking forward to seeing you guys go live and the amazing benefits that we know that you'll see. Here's just a quick slide for contact information. So feel free to reach out to Brian, William, or myself if you have any questions that came up today that we weren't able to answer. And we look forward to speaking with you soon.
Thanks, Haley.
Thank you guys for having us on.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one. Bye.